I'm actually getting this down pat. Hey everybody, Wally here with Fermented Nerds, Fermented Friends Advent Calendar, Day 7, joined by Justin from his own show, Nintendo Dads.
What's going on, Wally?
I'm just about to have some beer.
Nice,
so
excellent.
Let's just make sure we're all right here. Boom. Good. I got chat on. Still trying to get this all down pat. So
it's smooth though. I like it. It's fancy. Like I was pretty impressed. I was rocking it. I like it.
Yeah. It's funny. Before we get to the beer, do you remember Word on the Street like 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And you did the thing on podcasting?
Yes.
And that's when I first had this idea in my head.
Yeah.
So
I remember.
I finally brought it to fruition.
Yeah, I'm really. I remember you chatting with it about or with me about it, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And it's so great to see it kind of live and in its glory now, and that's fantastic.
Glory.
Might I add, I do love your set though. Like, wow, that's fantastic. Like the shelves of beer all around and the stocking.
So these are all beers I've had on the show, or beers the rest of my advent calendar in the fridge. So
yeah,
but the empties here are mostly like just stuff I feature on the show or some I haven't opened yet.
Nice.
So trying to keep a collection, and then I want to do some video when I get to like 100 beers.
Yeah,
I'll do a special video for that. So like top 10 or something. So pretty good. Anyways, so today in the Fermented Friends Advent Calendar, of which Justin is a part of.
I am.
And I think you might have drank this already.
No, I have. So here's the thing: is I was about to, and then I saw your message, and I was like, "Well, sure, look it. If we're jumping on stream, we're going to drink together, will we?"
Yes. So Analog Brewing out of Edmonton, they're Castlevania.
It definitely struck. I'm going to say, and I said this in our chat. And by the way, I'm just going to pour that into a glass here, make it look fancy. Oh, geez, sure. Look, it's a little bit of foam there.
Yeah.
I thought the can first and foremost, and again, being part of the Nintendo Dads and being an old school gamer, absolutely caught my attention. Right, a play on the Castlevania look. Yeah, just coming up there too. Look at that, Dungarvan Brewing Company. By the way, that's an Irish brewing company.
I'm jealous.
I know, right? Smells delicious though. It's good.
So there you go, nice crispy, like yellow, big white head on it.
Yeah, my pour was a bit off.
Okay, so this beer today comes in at 5.5%, 473 milliliter 1 pint can, and 40 IBUs.
So when they talk about IBUs, and I did see that on the back of the can, by the way, it's just some, again, call out to some fantastic artwork for like the old Nintendo cartridges. But what do they mean by IBUs?
So IBUs are bitter units, international bittering units, and it's essentially how bitter your beer will be. It's how many hops did they use for the bittering process? Okay. Hops can have like bittering, aroma, and flavor.
Yep.
So this is, in essence, not super hoppy. I've had 100 plus beer, like IBU that just like peel your skin off. But back to the can, since you're talking about that. So this
beauty of a can.
This beer is actually my selection.
Okay.
It's one of my two. And I bought it purely because of the art. I didn't even know what type of beer it was when I first picked it up. I was like, I'll take these. I'm like, ooh, a New England IPA. So New England IPAs, if you don't know, are a little different than West Coast. They tend to be a bit fruitier, a bit more tropical. So more like aroma, fruitiness forward. Whereas West Coast tend to be like more bitter, piney. They just use different types of hops. So like East Coast use more like traditional British hops, where West Coast is newer, like the big C's that are all bitter.
Yep.
Oh, we can't say anything about the beer. Adam from Analog.
Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome.
We were just talking about how amazing this art is.
Yes, love the artwork. Love the artwork on this, actually.
So, Adam, if you're indeed from Analog and you have streaming capabilities, you're more than welcome to join the show if you want. That'd be super awesome.
Yeah. I'd also be curious about the detail on this art. So, and again, if I can punch in really fast, you're the person here is wearing a backwards hat, as they're kind of staring off to a brewery. There appears to be some type of a sports team on there, right? Is that like the local sports team that Adam played for or something? Do you know what I mean? Like, is there some kind of like Easter egg in the label, or was it just a fun image to draw?
Looks like a lacrosse bat.
Oh yeah, I could see a little bit of lacrosse bat on that.
Right?
Yeah.
So, which you could definitely kill a vampire with, probably.
Yes, yeah, I like that. I also like. Here's the thing I do like about this can. Again, we keep going to that can. We haven't even drank it yet, folks, and we're like 5 minutes in. But I love that, like, on the back of it, what it should be paired with. That's smart, right? A sweeter meat dish, fish tacos. I feel like I love some fish tacos right now. How do we create like a partnership with someone to bring us fish tacos? Well, we have this. That's what we need to work on.
Have a beer pair next time.
There you go. Ceviche and a lighter fare. I think that's brilliant. I like that.
Which makes sense. I thought you might want this with spicier food, but I guess sweeter, right?
Some nice pairing there.
So it's kind of interesting. And if Adam, if you're watching this and you have the ability to tune in, let me know. Oh, it's a mash paddle.
Oh, look at that. Oh, is there a chat where I can see that? Comments. Haha, there it is.
Beer Native. So Beer Native's on here. Beer Native right here, Steve Jaguar. He has an awesome channel. He is near Liverpool. So let me get his because he does this for me all the time. So he runs Beer Native TV. He's also doing an advent calendar over in Liverpool.
Nice.
By Liverpool. So his seems really outrageous. I mean, he paid a pretty penny for it. And he
yes, sure. Look as you would.
But so this is the beer we're drinking. Again, for everybody that's tuning in, Analog Brewing Castle Venipa IPA. Steve's actually Canadian as well. So
brilliant. There's a good connection.
A Canadian living in England working for an American. Good. Awesome. Okay, so it's interesting because this says Lotus hops. And Lotus hops are brand new. I think they are like the newest type of hop. I can't believe you're on. It's 2 in the morning where Steve is right now.
Yes, it is. Yeah. 7 hour time.
You were in Ireland for a little while, right?
I was 2.5 years.
Oh, it smells very tropical.
I do like that.
A little bit of pine. So it has Lotus hops. I took a few notes here because Lotus hops is supposed to be orange and vanilla aroma.
Okay.
Followed by notes of candy. Actually, I do get candy and tropical for sure.
Yeah, I can get a little tropical for sure. I don't know if you get the candy notes, but for sure.
You're going to get quite a bit because you have Galaxy, which is going to have like citrus and peach and passion fruit. Has Azaka hops, which is like dual use. So it has high alpha acid. So it's a good bittering hop, tropical fruit and citrus, mango, that kind of stuff. And then El Dorado, which is their bittering hop for sure. I bet, yeah. Tropical fruit, pineapple, mango, pear, watermelon, stone fruit. It'll be kind of like muddled fruit, I think. God, there's too many of you. Sorry, Steve. Steve says he is actually from Nottingham, not Liverpool. So I must be thinking of somebody else because there are a lot of beer channels.
Robin Hood and all that. Yes. Still in the UK, still in the England area. Nottingham is
a small area, right?
Yeah.
So there we go. Those are the type of hops, and I had to do a little. I seen Lotus, and I was like, "What is that even?" And then looked it up, and it's a brand new, like kind of cross pollination with North American hops. So it's really cool. Yeah, there's a whole bunch to it. Hoplist.com is great. That's where I go to learn about hops and stuff. So
yeah. Again, just super impressed with just the amount of information. Do you know what I mean on the can, right? Whether it's the IPUs, the hops, how to pair it, and then they've got a little bit more information on the back of the can with that as well. It's just not just a simple like wrap. Do you know what I mean? So I appreciate that. That's really awesome.
I like that they actually put the information into kind of the game boxes, right? It's really cool. Then they have a whole description of their beer. Better sit close to the kitchen floor. It's the only chance you'll find a glass or two. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. And Sierra Prairie to St. Arnold. Cool. So, yeah, they're located in Edmonton. Unfortunately, I've never really got to check out breweries in Edmonton. I'll have them down here. Analog, you can find. There's another Castle's really, really good. They have a whole bunch of great beer. And I really want to try this one since it was my selection. I think my kid's coming down during this. So you guys get to be entertained. Oliver, I hope you're wearing clothes.
You're taping right now?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
My studio's in my house, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Hey. I missed it then. I didn't get the alert.
Oh, Daddy.
Yeah, we're on stream, buddy.
Oh, I know what to do it.
Everybody, this is Oliver.
Hey, Oliver. What's going on?
Say hi to YouTube. You're on YouTube right now.
Do what?
Yeah, dude. What?
Say what?
You're famous.
Yeah. It looks like Adam in the chat says, we do what we can. Brian loved when we were getting into beers that some brewers would give as much information as possible. I do what I can to come up with fun video game themed message. That's from Adam. That's great. Yeah, I like that.
So I'm kind of curious, Adam, video games, how you got it, why it's video. Oh, careful, buddy. Why it's video games. Like, what was the thing behind that? Analog, obviously, like
old school analog TVs. Yeah. There's definitely
the same reason, if you're into it and stuff, that's why. Fermented Nerds is definitely not just because I'm a beer nerd. So I wouldn't really consider myself a beer nerd because I don't know enough. I'm just a nerd. I know a lot about other stuff.
I'm going to tell you right now, I feel pretty confident you know a lot about this. There's, you're talking West Coast pine, you're talking different. I'm like, what's going on here, Wally? Like, I'm like, let's crack the can, let's go, right? So you're definitely well educated, though.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've been learning as I go. Actually, channel's been great help. Steve's channel, just a whole bunch of like beer channels I've been watching that have really helped kind of cultivate that. I mean, admittedly, I steal bits here and there, and then just reading online, and there's, like I said, Hots List alone, different Reddit and all that. So I'm trying to learn. I figure I should know what I'm talking about if I'm going to be on here. But I like being that channel that's like, I've never brewed, never been in the industry, don't really know anybody in it. Well, I kind of know some people, but not really. So I kind of having that intro into craft beer kind of channel. Let me know which one.
Well, it's a little bit
intro this beer.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the everyman situation, right?
Get a little bit of everything.
It's fresh. Do you know what I mean? Like, it has a fresh taste to it. It doesn't feel like it lingers too long afterwards, or some of those things, some beers obviously have a nice linger.
Yeah.
I also find like there's definitely, you can taste like it's got that nice little kick, a little freshness to it. Doesn't linger long, sits kind of nicely. I could definitely see like the pairing they're talking about here, like with the fish, tacos, a sweeter meat dish. I could see where that pairs really nicely.
A lot of citrus bite, and you get pine, but you don't get that weird dankness you do in some IPAs. If you know what I mean, like that, that the taste of a wet forest.
Yeah,
you don't get that taste.
Yeah, it just sits there, right? It just does not.
It doesn't kind of make me. It makes my mouth water, but it doesn't make me like the back of my tongue water, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? That kind of like. And again, I always say weird things, but that when I say dank, I mean like it tastes like a wet forest floor would smell.
Yeah.
It's like how you can get like flintiness or minerality, and that tastes like a wet sidewalk smells.
Yes, no, I know for sure. This would be like
on hops.
Like, I feel like it is a perfect. Sure, look at it. It's like 7 p.m. in August. It's a nice sunny day outside. You're sitting on the patio. It's got that nice, like it doesn't naturally feel like what I would call a winter beer. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of like hardiness. It's got the nice uplifts to it for sure. I like it.
This would be really good at a tapas kind of restaurant.
Yeah,
not like a full meal restaurant, but like just like or like food truck. Get some tacos and crack a beer or something. So
just like they say on the can, some fish tacos. Right?
So sweeter meat dishes, fish tacos, ceviche. Yeah, so it kind of buys into those flavor profiles too. So citrus, salt, a little bit of pine, so a little bit of herbalness, like vegetal. Not vegetals like the wrong, because it's not that strong, but a little bit of like earthiness and herbaceousness that you get in any, like in those kind of dishes. That it makes sense. I've never really thought about pairing beer with food. Admittedly, I don't go have a burger and like a stout.
Sure.
It's tough, right? You can't have lighter beers if you're having food, but it's good after you've done around at the cocktail bars. You have a nice certain type of beer. Maybe it's like a big porter before you go to bed, or a lager, whatever you want this light. So we always talk about seasonal drinking on here. It's interesting because like it's nice right now where we are. Very nice.
Yeah.
About not to be nice. I'm sure we're going to get kicked in the ass here very soon.
And then it's going to be into the porters, into the stouts, into those heavy winter beers.
Yeah, it changes a bit. So you want like heavier, roastier stuff. Fish taco, Steve. Film it. Film it. 2 a.m. fish taco video for you.
Do it up. Let's see, right? Brian, Adam's saying here, Brian and I are huge nerds. I love Trek, Marvel, and video games. Brian loves D&D and Cthulhu.
Well,
boy, that sounds like some people that I know.
Hey,
it sounds like some people that I know.
Well, if the channel's probably never seen it, but I only have comics with tattoos.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just covered in them. Both arms, Winter Soldier here. Geez, I have to figure out this camera. Speaking of cameras, new camera, so I'm very excited.
Nice. Very nice.
But yeah, I used to own a comic shop before I did this. So
yeah.
I get it, analog brain. I get it.
I suspect Brian and Adam and you could have a good sit down over a pint and probably be in the right company.
And when we're allowed to go visit people, I definitely want to go to Edmonton.
So there's an interesting question I want to ask you here. Wally, a little bit. You talked about breweries, right? You talked about brewery tours. You said you haven't done this one up in Edmonton. I'm sure the lads will be happy to have you there when it happens. What brings you to breweries? What about it is it kind of like? Because here's the thing: when I try to travel a lot, I love going to breweries. I love kind of exploring. But what is it about that culture that kind of draws you to it?
So here's the thing: I will go to any brewery. It's the breweries I'll go to again that matter.
Oh, okay.
And what I think they need to be is, I think in a brewery, it has. Adam says it feels like we're already friends. In a brewery, so a repeat brewery is somewhere where you're instantly comfortable. Mm-hmm. They have a great selection, not only their canned stuff, but also like other stuff that they're just brewing small batch, twists on certain beers. It has to be comfortable. And the staff is the most important. So are the brewers accessible? Are the owners accessible? Can you just sit and chat and talk beer nerd stuff with the bartender? Do they have a bar spot that you sit at? I think if your brewery, if you can't sit at the bar at a brewery, it's a huge error. And that's like almost any pub, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, I've missed that because we have zero. We're not allowed bar service anymore here. So we're not allowed to sit at the bar. So I like talking to bartenders. Right? So that for me is repeat. Everything else secondary, like music, look of the place. You know, it could be old and rustic, or it could be modern neon. And if it has all those elements, that will make me a repeat customer. And good beer. If it has crap beer and it's the coolest place ever, I won't go back. Yeah, because I mean, I'm spending good money on good beer. I can have bad beer anytime I want. Yes,
that's true. That's very true, right? Yeah. If you know, not to maybe put you in the hot spot here, right? But if you had to name like a top 3 breweries that you've been to, what would those look like?
Man, that's tough. Top 3 breweries I've been to. Oh shit, that's really tough. So Establishment in Calgary, awesome. I'm going to be biased and say Spectrum Ale Works here in town.
Okay, I have not gone there yet since getting back.
Awesome people and awesome beer. And it's literally just the owners who are also the brewers that are there. That's it. That's all that's there. They're just struggling entrepreneurs, living the dream. I connect with that. Plus, they're good people. They like talking beer. They're super friendly. And like I said, they're accessible. They're the ones serving you. You know when the beer was made. Establishments like that. But I'm going to put Establishment and Annex in Calgary in the same pool because they're right beside each other. Okay. So Annex has an awesome burger place, and then Establishment's right next door. And both make fantastic beer.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing that, as I was thinking of the question as well, and your kind of responses, a lot of things that you're saying, like the taste, right, the accessibility. One of the things for me, being a bit of a fat kid, gotta have some food there. Do you know what I mean? I want to be able to stay there. I want to be able to have a couple of drinks, but I need some soakage, right? I need some nachos. I need a burger. I need some pretzels, something. So for me, I always combine like a good brewery with a bit of a good bit of food too.
So to be fair, a lot of them, like my favorite. So one of my favorite places ever to drink is a place called Tall Boys on Bloor Street in Toronto.
Oh wow, that is very specific.
All they do is tall cans.
Yeah.
They do like a pretty wide range of Ontario breweries, and they have awesome food. So we'll go out there, like it was almost once a year. We'd go out there for different, traveling concerts, whatever. So that's just a place that's always stood in my head because it was great beer and great food and like good atmosphere, and they had a cool patio and everything. I wish Spectrum in town here had food. It would make such a difference. They allow you to order in. That's what's cool about Cold Garden in Calgary too. So Cold Garden has some cool things. You can't really find their beer, and their beer's okay for sure. They're the guys who did Gronk, and they're coming out with Gronk again.
Okay.
Gronk being like old school, like 1800s kind of booze.
Wow.
Like sarsaparilla. They allow dogs in there. So it's this huge, weird place with just random couches and chairs, and they allow dogs, and they have menus everywhere for restaurants around the city that you can just call and like order your pizza in. And then food trucks will park outside. I wish Lethbridge is always behind the times, let's be honest.
Yeah, for sure they are.
I wish we had a food truck culture here because nothing is better than food trucks and breweries.
Yes, 100%. I would agree with that.
You just need fresh air. You've had a few. You tried their triple, their Imperial Stout, their triple IPA, a 9%, 8% beer. Like, okay, I just need a break. And go outside and have, food truck, and you have a little like snack, get some fresh air, go back in. It's just such a natural fit. And it's just not something we have here.
No, a little bit of fresh air, a little stretch the legs, find some soakage.
Yeah.
Right. And you're good to go as well.
So how about you? What is your because you have a bit of experience I don't, where you've been to Ireland. I just haven't been overseas. I've been to some breweries in the States, Missoula and like Phoenix and stuff, but not anywhere really.
Yeah, I mean, by default, of course, I think spending time in Ireland, you kind of have to say the Guinness House. That is a 6-hour experience that I had an opportunity. It's 4 floors, and the very top of it, when you get to the very top, it's a round 360 view of all of like downtown or of Dublin. Yeah. So that's pretty incredible. And you're up there, and you're just sipping Guinness and enjoying the view. Yeah. That's very commercial, right? But it's and they also have a great little tasting like microbrewery, not microbrewery, but like, hey, we're trying some new flavors. Try these, right? So they have this kind of almost like experimental bar lounge or bar area you can go to and try some different stuff, which is very cool. They go through the history of like the logo, how it's been shipped around the world. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna have to go with that one. The other one that I'm actually a really big fan of through my travels is I got to spend some time at a place called Boulevard Brewery, and this is down in Kansas City. Okay. And they are when you can go into any of the pubs or the restaurants around there, they're on every tap pretty much. They've really cornered that market really well. They have 3, 4, 5 different taps going on every single time. So they have lots of variety, which is great. But when you show up there, they do a bit of a walkabout, right? You do the tour. But they also do a great job they do actually a food pairing and beer. So it's by the way, here's some locally sourced chocolates, and we're going to pair this with this, stout, and here's some of the notes. So they do a really great job of making a full day of it, and then they have a bit of a bar service there as well. So you spend, your tour starts at 11, and I didn't stumble out of there until about 5. So a bit of fun with that as well.
I really like that in brewery and you've touched on a few times, is length of time in it. Yeah. If you get lost there, that's like one I never thought of, but as you talked about, like if you just get lost in time, and all of a sudden it's like you've went in at 4 PM, it's 9 PM. That's a great brewery. Yeah. So there's something that's kept you there, whether it's beer or chat. And honestly, usually it's company that keeps anybody anywhere. It's keeping your interest going, right? So a place like that.
Yeah, and there's so often, like when you, to your point, the chat, right? You're meeting up with people. You're at a brewery. There's most likely like-minded individuals, right? You have a couple of drinks. You're feeling good. So the conversation is there, right? And I think that it's interesting when you see some of these, I won't say microbreweries, but like talk to me about what it's like to be in that space. How are you getting there? Like, how are you being different? How do you fight against the next microbrewery who's 4 or 5 down the street? Like, what are those struggles that you come into, and how do we promote and have success in that? So I think those are the interesting tales.
For sure. If Adam's still in here, I don't know if he is. If you are, just kind of type up some of that. Like, I wouldn't mind you kind of discussing this. We can also do like an interview another time with Adam if they want, or any of Adam and Brian there from Analog. But it's kind of interesting. So Calgary, has essentially like a brewer's row, right? It's like it's establishment and annex and Bourne, Colorado and OT Brewing. There's about like 8 breweries in an area, and they actually all cooperate, which is really cool. They're all very friendly with each other. They kind of promote each other, and they've developed this thing. And then you have breweries in Calgary that are off in the middle of nowhere, and they shut down, and they're like, wow, the industry is like, well, you're at the airport, by the airport. But you weren't really by the airport, and you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, right? So Caravel is like that. Rail Yard, I think, is like kind of in the middle of nowhere. And that, to be fair, I'm going to park my car at a hotel.
As you should. As you should. If you're going to brewery,
so I'm going to park usually at Hotel Arts. Honestly, that's where I'll often stay. Depending, or if I just want like a cheap days in or something. But regardless, Uber to one place, and I want to be able to walk, right?
Yes.
So and it's kind of nice. Calgary has whole areas like that. You can go from like 88 to Dandy down to Revival Brewcade, and then you're all of a sudden you're in Inglewood, and there's a million things. Cold Garden and Old Beautiful are right beside one another. If you walk over there, I like that atmosphere. I think it's because it's like it reminds me a bit of like Toronto, going around from those trips where you just walk in the square, but Edmonton, White Ave, and right, Jasper Ave, and Calgary, like Stephen Avenue Mall and 17th, what it used to be and stuff. So
a lot of those kind of walkabouts, nice little pub tours, right? Foot pub tours. I do like Adam. Yeah, you lost me when food was a category. Our menu is pizza pops and corn dogs. Adam, listen. I'm down for pizza pops and corn dogs too, my friend. As long as you got some soakage, we're okay. It's all right.
Yes. You just need, especially late, you just like, pizza pops, right? That's definitely a thing. And I guess he's working on renovations during the shutdown. So Edmonton kind of undergoing, unfortunately, like we don't want to be sad and downers, but Edmonton is going through a pretty tough time with COVID. So, I mean, that's a good time. Hopefully you can still get in all the liquor stores and stuff. I bought this if you're wondering, Adam, I bought this at the liquor store in Lethbridge. It is behind Pops North, if you know where that is, or Pops North, if you know where that is.
Yep.
So I think it's called Liquor Store. It's on. I don't know. They'll figure it out. And I've seen Westminster, and they have like 3 stores. They have Norbridge and 2 Westminsters. They're starting to carry analog too. So
I want to think
it is available down here.
Yeah, I want to think I saw it down by the Costco, what is that, wine store and more, or beer store and more? The one that used to be the hunting place.
More?
Yeah, I think so.
Giant one?
Yeah, I think so. That's where I'm at. So I think that's where I saw it. Because again, anything that looks like a 1980s video game art, I'm all about. I was like, wait a minute. So
art's interesting. Steve's probably eaten fish tacos, but he did a whole video on Beer Native TV about advertising and like branding.
Yeah.
This will catch my eye every single time. Establishments like that, right? They always have like cool, weird art on their cans.
Yeah.
Right? Well, it's like very definitive. Where sometimes I'm not slagging these guys because this beer is good, but like, that's just kind of a boring can. It's never going to catch my eye.
And that's such a and that's a great point, right? That's such a challenge, as I would imagine, someone like Analog or Adam's talking about here. There are so many of these microbreweries or brew locations that have set up their canning, which is awesome, but they have to compete with 70 other breweries that are coming in there, and you got to stand out. You got to. And I'm going to be honest with you, as we talk about this advent calendar here, Wally, the cans that the beers that I put out, literally it's because the can caught my attention.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's pretty. And I kind of looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, and I do like that as well. All right, that goes in there. But like the art design was a thing that drew me in.
Well, the flavors what I stood for. Right?
Yeah, it's important.
There's breweries that are kind of controversial, like right here, Flying Monkeys. Not everybody likes all their stuff, but everybody buys their stuff because their can art's wild, right? Or High Lie, like the Cigar City stuff, you just know it. And some it's just you just get lost. Collective Arts is really good for that.
Okay.
Where they're very identifiably them, and they're very cool art on their cans. Analog does it too, but of course it's video game, so it like instantly catches my eye. Zero Issue in Calgary does it because they're a comic book themed place.
Okay.
So all their cans are like have issues on them. So like this
Nice.
beer was our first beer. This is issue 1.
Nice.
So I think that's like an often forgotten thing, that you're buying beer because of the way it looks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like I'm sure you've had it, but like our logo, we agonized over this stupid thing forever for no reason. Like we didn't have anything going on, right? So.
Yeah. Oh, interesting comment here. Yeah, well over 140 breweries in Alberta now. And unlike other provinces, we have to compete against breweries from all over the world. No protections to give us shelf space by default. Wow. Yeah, that's
the only
crazy.
protectionism you have is loyalty. So, and it's interesting because there was like that was a huge deal. We talked about it on the show the other day. Big lawsuit because we want to have same rules as every other province.
Yeah. Sorry. So hold on. Talk to me a little bit about this because I apologize while I missed that episode. So what's happening?
So essentially what happens is Alberta has the most open beer market in the world.
Okay.
That's why I have Hitachino from Japan.
Yeah.
I have I can't really say the name, so I'm not going to. Anyways, this Sour Time from Poland. I have Lindemans. I have tons of American beer. I have Witchwood stuff up back here. Cigar City stuff back here. You can't get this in any other province, really. It's really hard. And then from Canada, every brewery from Canada. So I have beers from almost every province back here.
Yeah.
I go to any other province, I can't find Alberta beer. It gets tapped out the wazoo. I don't know the exact laws and rules, but essentially what happened is Alberta is like, well, let's just have same rules. It'll help our breweries. We can give them money, like essentially tax breaks to help them out and get going. And the guy kind of behind Steam Whistle and Doo Doo CL, Gowdy, sued the province and won.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's crazy. And essentially because we can have, you know, whether out of province or out of country beers standing beside your man here in Edmonton.
So it's awesome for us. It really is.
As consumers, for sure. As consumers,
fantastic for us. Yeah. But it really sucks for breweries when they're not only competing against the 140 breweries in the province, they're competing against every brewery in the world. That any brewery that gets sent up to the place where they order, right? So, because everybody has to order from Liquor Connect, you can buy direct from the brewery, but everybody orders from Liquor Connect. The liquor store will go on, I want these items, right? So I went in and I asked the liquor store if he could order me some because it was on Liquor Connect, and I've always wanted it. It's kind of like one of the old guys, like one of the old IPAs. This is actually the best-selling IPA in American grocery stores.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, I want to try this beer. It gets talked about all the time. He could order it. If I was in Saskatchewan and I asked for anything other than Saskatchewan beer or macro brew, which just get to break all the rules, there we go. I think Adam here, Justin, actually has. There you go. Yeah, government-run stores.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they have government-run stores.
I'm slightly uneducated, but thank you for that. That is.
And then he finishes here. I'll just put my beer back while you read that. But essentially, the other thing is we're privatized, and that's a huge deal, right?
Yeah.
So
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, thank you, Adam, for sharing that. My question there was, of course, marking up, right? Like, sure, look at if you're gonna bring in your man's beer from, you know, let's say Australia, then you've got to have a higher price markup for that against your beer, right? So that in theory, you know, that's your separation or your differential. If someone wants to pay, you know, $8 for a can of beer, then sure, look at that's fine. But you know, you may as well, if you can offer yours for $3, and that's where you want to go, right?
Yeah, it's good and frustrating, you know.
Yeah,
so it's because it is a little tough and like this is just like I don't know how a brewery in Alberta competes when they have to go to a chain, because it's all chains here, really, liquor stores. You have some independents and small ones, but they're not buying that much anyways. But you're going to go to like the big liquor stores, the chains, and be like, I want my product in your place. And they're like, well, we don't really have room because we buy from 80 breweries out of the country already, right?
Is that where maybe, and Wally, your commentary before of like Spectrum, right? The small brewery, the small local,
Yeah.
right? Is that really why there is such that maybe that increase or that interest in those things is to ensure that you really do end up supporting the local in that same way? Do you think there's a connection there, or?
So for me, there is for sure. Again, as an entrepreneur, I feel the pain.
Yeah.
I want to support local because I get it. I can't tell you how many times I was screwed by Marvel and DC and giant companies because I was a small guy, right? Just over and over. So I get it. For these guys, they're like, oh, you don't have room for my beer that's produced down the street, but you have room for Witchwood Brewery.
Mm-hmm.
You have room for a brewery from Japan that you're probably going to sell a 6-pack of.
Yeah.
But again, just support your local guys. I think COVID's had a huge part in local breweries having troubles in Alberta, especially because now they can only sell liquor stores. Bars aren't really buying. Yeah. I can't imagine how hard it is to sell a keg of beer right now. And then, so everybody's buying from liquor stores because nobody's really going to breweries, unfortunately. It's tough. Most are shut down. Analog shut down. Establishments shut down. A lot of breweries are just shut down. Theoretically, here in town, brewing shut down. Yeah. They're still making beer and put it in liquor stores, but also now you don't have that inward traffic where you connect.
Right.
Which is so important, that connection, to make me a lifelong customer. Yeah. Establishment Annex Zero Issue didn't connect me off a liquor shelf. We went on a brewery tour to all these places for a bachelor party, and everyone I just fell in love. And now I buy their beer like crazy.
Right.
So right now, I can't go on brewery tours if I want. Well, I don't even go to Vancouver, but if I went to Vancouver, I'd want to go on a brewery tour. Well, they're not happening, right? So
yeah.
It's got to be tough for them. I can't even imagine the difficulty right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Thankfully, they're still canning beer and making delicious beer.
It is absolutely delicious. I finished my glass already.
Well, see, it's funny. Remember the harkening back, a little callback. We were talking about getting lost in the conversation. Justin's like, how long will this be? 15 minutes probably.
Well, good conversation though. I think those are great things, and lots of chats here from Adam provide. I thank you, Adam, so much for that insight too. Right, I think that was really valuable for us to know what's going on there.
I will email you, Adam, and your partner Brian, because I think we could do something fun, especially with Nintendo dads on the channel. Maybe we could do something. I don't know. We'll have to have a little combo. Maybe we can all get here on StreamYard and talk some beer, especially right now. While, especially if you're shut down doing renovations, you're just brewing. It's not saying you don't have time, but it's a good advertising period, I think, for people to stand out. Not that I'm a giant channel, but the more the merrier, I think. And if you just want to have beer and chat, I'm buying it. So I'm buying more beer.
Yeah,
and actually, I have a sponsor, which is kind of nice too. So Westminster Liquor, who has this beer now, that sponsors me. So that's kind of nice. So
nice, very nice in the sponsorship. That's great. Yeah, no, I've enjoyed this, and I'm going to say out of our what is this, can 7. I was like, that's not a good situation. I'm like, what can is this? It is an advent calendar.
Yes.
So it's 7. That's how an advent works. I think this is going to be right up there in my in the top 2 or 3 I've had so far. So loving that as well.
Hey, I'll send you a shirt if you send me a shirt. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah, it was really good. I don't know if there's so many hops in here. I don't know which stood out and which was supposed to be forward or not. Yeah. And it was a little. This will be. Adam can hear this. I don't care. I was a little worried it was going to be some weird experiment for Lotus hops, and it might be, but it tastes good, so I don't care. Because sometimes if you want to be kind of first to market, and if you can brag you're first to market on this, Sabro hops were kind of the same thing when they started. Everybody want to be first to market fresh when there was kind of I don't know if you remember, Justin, but there's the whole fresh hop craze.
Yeah.
Then the hazy craze, this guy's super hazy. And everybody's adding everything to the thing, oats and stuff, right? So I was worried that this was going to be a vehicle for a Lotus experiment.
Yeah.
and not be anything but that, but it actually has a lot of depth. I don't mind that it doesn't have a super thick mouthfeel for New England. New England's tend to be a bit can be a bit juicier, a bit chewier.
Sure.
But I like that it has a little less mouthfeel because it allowed me to kind of feel it a bit more, kind of taste it a bit more. And I kept going back over and over and over. Like you said, you drank your whole can, I drank my whole can. I don't always do that.
Fair enough.
Right? So I will put this right up top, I think. Pretty close. So White Raven was really good. I like that a lot, actually. But I've had White Raven before from Apex Predator, one of Adam's local competitors. Used to be Bench Creek Brewery. I really like the Kitty Vitty or Quitty Vitty Iceberg beer.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was quite good. Actually, that was.
It might have been the gimmick, but it was like a perfect lager. It was just like ace lager. The Russell Brewing Oatmeal Stout was okay. It wasn't bad, but I kind of drank it like when I didn't want to have a stout.
Yeah, you got to be in the right mood for some of those things, right?
Yeah. After that, so Legend 7 Pale Ale, the Bent Stick. There will be Blood Orange, and what was the other one we had?
I got to look at it. I've been taking
really sour. I didn't really enjoy any of them, unfortunately.
Okay,
but I'm very glad that my first selection so far, was delicious. So I got this one because of art. My other selection I got because it just got canned.
Oh, okay.
I knew nobody would have it. There's going to be 3 at least. Well, we had the conversation when I handed it off. At least 3 of these are like only a week old or 2. And well, it'll be a few weeks a couple weeks by the time you drink them. But
yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely going to say Analog Brewing that you've got me next time. Next time in the shop, and you pick up singles or cans. Yeah, sure. Look, I'm going to pick up Analog Brewing. I want to know what else you got going on there. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. That's good.
They have a really good. Another Castle in the Sky is delicious. Try it.
Okay. Awesome. There you go.
So I think it's like Mario based, but you know about that. So
won me over already.
Okay, so I think with that, we'll just end it here. We have somebody watching on Facebook as well, which is kind of cool. Adam will be in touch. Justin, thank you for joining us. Again, check out Nintendo Dads. Go ahead and show your channel.
We're on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram. We're a bunch of dads who come together. Who played video games in the 80s and 90s. We have nostalgia for them, and we're raising our own video game children who play video games. So we play together. We have a bit of a go at it, and we're family friendly, by the way. So you can watch or listen with the family as well. So yeah, thanks for having me, Wally. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for coming on again, everybody. Check us out. I will click this banner so you know. Bam. Find us on all social medias at Fermented Nerds. All the thumbs up for people finding us. It'll help out. Subscribe. Hit the bell button. Most importantly, please tell all your friends about us. Adam, please tell all the breweries about us because I like free beer. That's the only reason I do this channel. And with that said, that's Justin. This is Wally. Tune in tomorrow about the same time for day 8. It's a really cool beer. It's a rice beer. So I'm really looking forward to that. That should be interesting. Another Calgary brewery. And with all that said, Justin, Wally, guess out.
Bye-bye.